Hi, this is Paul McCain, and I just wanted to take a few minutes here to talk about the M1 Garand. What I'm holding right now is an M1 Garand made at the Springfield Armory in 1955. This happens to be called a collector's grade. It's in great shape, almost mint condition. What I'd like to talk today about is the end block clip that was used with the Garand. I'd like to talk about loading it, and I thought you'd enjoy hearing the distinct ping sound that it makes when it's ejected. So we're going to take a couple close-ups here of this end block clip. I have dummy rounds from the company called dummyrounds.com, which allow you to fully practice loading and ejecting the clip from the M1 Garand. So let's take a closer look. So what you've got here is a closer look at the what's called the end block. This was developed, actually before the Garand was developed. It was developed by other persons, not John Garand, as his name was pronounced, who developed the M1 Garand rifle. But this is right now a clip that holds 8 rounds of 30-06. It's called 30-06 because it's 30 caliber, and this round was developed in 1906, hence the name 30-06. So let's take a look at how you can load the clip without getting the famous M1 Garand thumb. In fact, it's really impossible to get it when you're loading the full clip. In fact, let me just show you what the M1 Garand thumb's all about. Right now is the bolt all the way back, and let me show you what happens when you move the bolt forward. That's a very soft return of it. One thing people often do by mistake is they pull the bolt back and they think that it's locked right at that point. Now what's really happening is just locked on the follower. This is, like I said, this is almost a brand new M1 Garand, even though it's almost 55 years old, but so it won't do it. But other Garands, older Garands, will often lock on the follower, but it's not all the way back. So look what happens. If your thumb's in there, imagine your thumb being in there by accident, and bam, you've got M1 Garand thumb. So what you've got to do is pull all the way back sharply until it locks all the way back in there. So now let me show you how to load the M1 Garand end block clip. Best way to do it is to set it on top here, and what you want to do is get it firmly in place and then use kind of the blade of your hand. Hold the bolt back, the operating rod back right here. This is the operating rod. You hold that in place, so you push this in, and now it is in place. And you'll notice that the bolt has moved forward a little bit. Some Garands, if they're really new, this bolt will simply pop around into the chamber. But the best situation is actually when you have to give the operating rod a little nudge. So watch what happens here. Now, the gun is chambered. This is, again, a dummy round. I'm going to put it on safe. This is the safety of the M1 Garand. So the gun is safe right now. If this was a real bullet in here, the gun would be on safe. So let's now just take a look at how this will cycle the rounds through as it's fired. Okay, so watch what happens as I cycle these rounds through. And again, you have to imagine I'm firing the gun, so they would take it off safe. It's off safe right now. And that's a pretty loud clicking noise, and there's no way to get around that really. But with each shot, the M1 Garand, which is gas-powered, ejects some gas down this gas tube here. And it cycles, there's a long rod up there, and it cycles the operating rod back. So let's just see what happens when we get all the rounds through it. All right, now we're ready for the famous M1 Garand ping. Listen carefully. And the bolt is locked back, and it's ready for the next end block clip to be inserted. So I've enjoyed watching some videos on YouTube, but I never quite can hear the ping as well. I hope you can hear a little bit better on this video. Thanks for watching.